Hello, hello, hello. This is Coach Vic. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome to Finding Your 40. I just want to thank you guys for continuing to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. I thank you guys for continuing to join me too, for continuing to allow me an opportunity to be able to have a platform, to be able to educate you, to encourage you, and also to encourage and educate myself. Because as I'm putting these things together, this information together, I do my research to make sure that I'm not giving you false information, to make sure that I'm not giving you old information as well. And so I do everything I can to make sure to keep the content fresh, to keep the information true. so I want to thank you guys for continuing to join me, continuing to follow, continuing to like, share, and subscribe, and continuing just to be an encouragement to me. Thank you for the emails, thank you for the messages, thank you for those that leave comments. I'm really grateful, really appreciative of everything you guys do and all that you guys are to this platform, to this program. And Finding Your 40 it means so much to me because as I was going through probably one of the darkest times of my life, trying to find a way to have hope, to encourage myself. I began working out, and I began working out started with 40 push-ups, and then elevated from 40 to 50. It was a push-up challenge, and we did it for like a week long, and it really began to open my eyes to a couple of other things and a couple of other opportunities. Began to do things on YouTube, looking at different workout activities and different workout professional coaches and and it really just opened up my eyes to a lot of things. Really give me an opportunity to really do some things to really understand more about myself, and then begin looking further and deeper into me and what I need to do in order for me to be able to take that next step forward. And so Finding Your 40 is really about the next step forward, and that's what we're going to talk about, is the next step forward. Today we're going to talk about the refreshing. And I'm really excited because we talked about the climb, we talked about cruising altitude, and now we're going to talk about the refreshing. And the refreshing, in cruising altitude, we talked about turbulence. We talked about trying to avoid turbulence by climbing higher and making sure that when you get to cruising altitude, you're able to to coast into your next destination, because all things are working together for our good, as the Bible says. All things work together for good for those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And so all things are working together for us as we begin to move forward, take that step forward. So now we're going to talk about the refreshing. The refreshing happens when we get an opportunity, when we go through turbulence, when we go through difficult times and challenges. Sometimes we become emotionally spent, we become emotionally worn, we become mentally challenged, and we find ourselves really having a hard time dealing with those circumstances. But most of the time, because we're in a multitask society, we would continue to do things forward and forward and forward, because that's just the order of the day. The order of the day is that you have to multitask. You have to be willing to put yourself into danger over here, but then be willing to perform at your most optimal level over there, and sometimes it's not possible. And what I learned in the military and working on aircraft is that there are sometimes when planes go, when aircraft go through certain situations, whether it be battle damage or whether it be an over G for some aircraft, or whether it be a wind shear turbulence, for the cargo aircraft, there's different things that happen on the plane, and the plane becomes stressed and stretched. And so what happens is you have to go. There's a check required that you have to go through in order to be able to bring the plane back to duty. We're going to talk about all that right here on this segment of Finding Your 40. And so stay with us, stay tuned, stay with me to the end, and you're gonna see just how all of this I brought up now applies to us in our natural state as we're walking through our daily walk, our daily program. And so today we'll talk about the refreshing. The refreshing. The word refreshing means fresh or vigorous, as though a rest, drink, or food revived or as through rest, drink, or food revived or revigorated. He awoke feeling completely refreshed. It's such a great feeling to feel refreshed. To feel refreshed. Do you feel refreshed? You just get that breath of fresh air, that nice cold shower after a hot day, or that first time you jump into the pool and you come up out of the water. It's like a refreshing feeling. And so today we're going to talk about the refreshing and being reinvigorated. In the last segment, we talked about the cruising altitude and climbing higher. We do our best to avoid conflict and turbulence, and at times we cannot avoid turbulence. We must navigate conflict and come out on the other side in one piece, still operable and able to perform at optimum levels. Now see, that's what I'm saying. We can't always avoid conflict. We can't always avoid turbulence. There's some situations that you're thrust into that you really have no way of avoiding, and so you have to navigate through it. You have to go through it. You have to walk through it. And as you're walking through it, it gives you an opportunity to really be able to understand more about you in the situation. And Friday at 40 is all about us. It's not about anybody outside of us, or saying you're not fighting with other people, because there's sometimes people do the wrong thing, but what they say or what they do has no bearing on how we respond. It is our response that we're concerned with. It's our reaction, it is our action and our response. And so today we're really going to get into the refreshing and talking about being operable even after the conflict. And it says some conflicts and turbulence take heavy tolls on our process. We have discussed self-assessment and self-discernment as key components to our daily programming. We next need to know here and when, how and when to take ourselves out of service. And this is what happens with aircraft. When they go through that heavy turbulence, when they go through that over G, where they or they go through some kind of a damage, they do a damage assessment. They're taken out of service for a little bit, so the proper inspection can take place. And this is what we're talking about right now, is making sure that we do a proper inspection. And so we have to use introspection. That's introspection. That's where we evaluate ourselves. It's where we assess ourselves. A self-inspection technique that allows us to examine or observe our own mental and emotional processes. When aircraft go through heavy turbulence, a post-flight inspection is required to ensure that the craft is suitable for the next flight. It is important that we get to that place where we understand what kind of damage we've taken on, and then we begin to really work on our ability to repair ourselves, our ability to inspect ourselves, to assess ourselves, so that we can make sure that we're in the right emotional state before we go into the next room, because each room offers something different and it requires a different part of us. And so if you're going into one room with the last room's dirt on you, so to speak, with the last room's wear and tear on you, so to speak, without refreshing your mind, without refreshing your heart, without refreshing your emotions, without taking time to really just be able to restart, to put yourself in a position where you're able to cleanse all of that stuff off of you before you go to the next room. You're going to find yourself incurring new mistakes, having recurrent activities, and this room might be more valuable than the room that you were just in, and it might be more at stake. And so you might end up losing more in this next room than you lost in the last room. And so it's important for us to understand that we have to learn how to do introspection. We have to learn how to take ourselves away from everything for a few minutes and say, okay, am I okay? What is going on with me? And reason with yourself, and write down in your journal, write down in your discovery log, whatever you want to write it down at, write it down and begin to get it all out, push it all out. In most cases, this assessment is non-negotiable. Yes, you see, when the plane over G's, I just work on military aircraft, and when the plane over G's, there is no negotiating the next flight until that plane goes through the over G inspection. And what happens is an over G is basically that the plane did a maneuver or oversped during a maneuver that caused unnecessary stress on the aircraft. And so this assessment, this inspection is non-negotiable. But for many of us, we continue on our way, cruising through our day as if nothing happened. but we have oil leaks, we have fuel leaks, we have fluid dripping from everywhere. We're losing oxygen. We have all kinds of stuff going on, and all because our panels are stressed. Because our pipes have become stressed, because our mental has become stressed, and so now we have all this stuff going on, and we're thinking that everything is okay, but everything is not okay. We have to admit to ourselves, no, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. And it's okay for you to say I'm not okay. It's okay for you to tell yourself, look, you need to step back for a minute and take a deep breath and really understand what just happened to you, what you just went through, and now we need to overcome that challenge, that circumstance, and then be able to move forward in our day. And we have to be willing to do that. Man. Yes. We live in a multitasking and multi-stressful society, so we assume that how we handle everything, so that we have to handle everything with a business as usual approach. This leads to a very unhealthy mindset, and which in turn capsizes our psychological profile, and we lose perception of our daily goals, objectives, visions, and or mission. When this happens, it could set off an unusual chain of events that causes us to regress to the old mentalities and mindsets. Now, this is the thing I really want to talk about. When we're in autopilot, and we have that, and we move out of autopilot to manual control because of a situation, and then we end up having ourselves, having to to deal with a stressful situation, and we don't recover well from it. What happens is you go back to what you're used to. You go back to what you know. You go back to what's comfortable sometimes. And in this situation, when somebody says something to you or about you that you didn't appreciate, and if you're not handling that properly, if you're not dealing with that properly, you can regress to that old mindset, and you could go back to reading them the riot act and all the other stuff that that you used to do, that we used to do, and the thing is, because it's only one incident, we don't pay any attention to it, but we don't realize that every moment after that, our mindset begins to shift back to that old mentality. It begins to shift back to the old ideology, the old idealism, how we used to express ourselves, and then and it could be a long time before we catch ourselves. It might be that very moment, but for most of us, when you've been comfortable in a certain situation, and you come out of that situation and you're going into something new, and you find yourself having to step back into the old situation, it becomes more comfortable to stay there. It becomes more comfortable for you to operate out of there, because that's a safe place for you. People didn't mess with you when you were in that particular situation, in that particular mindset. They didn't bother you because they knew what was going to happen. They knew if they said the wrong thing to you, they were going to get told 9 ways to Sunday. And so, but that's not the way we're operating, on how we should live. And so, really, I want you to really begin to take in this opportunity to think on refreshing. Think on when you how it is when you come in from a hard day, when you've worked out, you've ran and all that, but you come in and you get in that shower, and that water hits your body for the first time. It's a refreshing feeling. And so I want us to have a mental place or an emotional place where we can have that refreshing water pouring onto our body, and visualize water pouring on our body, or visualize, jumping into that pool, or sitting up under the waterfall. I love water, so all my references are gonna be with water, because it's just something refreshing about having a cold glass of water, putting your head up under a waterfall and letting the water just pour it on your head, or like that nice. I don't take cold showers, but that nice warm shower after working out, or jumping into that pool, on a hot day. Those are all refreshing things to me. So I'm always gonna make reference to water, because out of your belly, according to the Bible, so flow rivers of living water, and so what's in you, it wants to flow out. And so if you don't refresh your mind, if you don't refresh your heart, if you don't refresh your soul, then the living water that flows out of you is going to cause death and disaster and destruction, because you're going to be saying the wrong thing. You're going to react the wrong way. You're going to act the wrong way. You're going to operate in the wrong mindset. You're going to move into an environment where you should be healthy and growing, and you're going to begin to chop down everything in that environment. And we don't want that. We want you to be successful and navigate every environment you walk into successfully, and know that everything that you're doing is putting your best foot forward and presenting your best version of you every single day, every single moment, every single hour, no matter what the stressors might be, no matter what the situation might look like at the moment, because we're learning to discern ourselves, because we're learning to do self-assessment and introspection. We are really beginning to understand, what causes, what our triggers are, well, what button is being pushed and being manipulated, so that we're able to respond in the right way. And so this is really what we want to make sure that we're doing. That we're refreshing our mind, we're refreshing our heart, we're refreshing our mentality, we're refreshing our psychological profile, and making sure that we are continuing to operate on the highest levels we can operate on every single time. And it just talked about the degree of difficulty for recovering is not it's not impossible, and it's not implausible. What increases the degree of difficulty is recognition, and this is the hardest part about going into these dark places without refreshing, without assessment, going through turbulence and not doing introspection afterwards, is that you don't recognize what you've been through, but you also don't recognize what came out of you. You don't because that you operated in that particular environment, that mindset for so long, that when you revert back to that for a quick second, you don't recognize you did it. And so what happens is you're continuing. We have to talk about you continuing to operate in that mindset, continuing to lose perspective, continuing to walk with a skewed perception, and you end up causing more damage and more harm than good. And so it's important for us to understand that we have to rebalance, and we have to reweigh ourselves, and we have to make sure that we are operating smoothly, and properly weighted in every situation, in all of our mindsets, understanding that our spiritual, our physical, our psychological, our mental, our emotional, and also our financial stressors and situations and circumstances, so we're able to respond properly. And this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the refreshing. Refresh your mind, refresh your heart, refresh your emotions, constant refreshing. Find some music, find some a drawing, or find a place to meditate. But you can't continue to operate, after you've gone through severe turbulence or severe conflict. You can't go back and operating as normal, because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to put yourself in a situation where that same thing is going to happen again, and they're going to get the same response again, and it's going to continue to happen over and over and over again, until eventually you move back. You've regressed all the way back to day one of finding your 40, or day zero before you start finding your 40, and all of your gains, all of your goals, all of your objectives have been lost, because you've lost perception, because you've operated from a skewed mindset, and you have not been able to move away from that environment. And so I really want to make sure that today, that as you're going through your day, you find some time for refreshing, to refresh your mind, to refresh your heart, to refresh your thought processes, and really just take the opportunity to like I said, the easiest thing to do is meditate. To really just spend some time, get your word, whatever you're studying, take a book, take or something like that, and just spend some time alone, 15 minutes alone, and just let all that stuff fall off you. And as you do that, you'll begin to build resiliency. As you're building resiliency, you'll begin to appreciate yourself more, but you also begin to appreciate every opportunity you have to present your best self and put your best foot forward that much more. And no matter when you get into opportunities of conflict, when you get an opportunities of turbulence. So notice I said the word opportunity, because each one of those is an opportunity for us to assess how much we've grown, or for us to learn what we need to do in order to grow more. And so these are all learning opportunities for us to be able to know just where we are, and then how to get to where we need to go. So this is Coach Vic. This is Finding Your 40. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe. And if there's anything I can do for you, if you want counseling, if you want coaching, I have the link for coaching, the email for coaching for you to request coaching, and I'll send you a Zoom link where we can meet on Teams and really begin to begin to move forward. So I'm available to you 24 hours a day. Whatever you need from me, I will make sure that I'm also available to you, so that we can continue to move forward and put our best foot forward every single day. Coach Vic, Finding Your 40. Like, share, and subscribe. We have already won because we're taking the opportunity to move forward and be our best version of ourselves. God bless you. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.